I would say about 90% of the time when I make one of these videos, I'm just an idiot staring at a camera talking smack. But about 10% of the time, I feel as though the things we talk about, I might be a subject matter expert. And this is one of those videos because Ascender AR put out a video, and it's a while ago. It was a year ago that this came out. I just haven't seen it yet. That ranks based off of the community every Call of Duty's campaign from worst to best. Now they have timestamps, but I'm not going to look at those because I want to be surprised and get my honest take out of these. And I'm curious how he did this and what the community actually thought and how well they did. So by the end of this, I'm going to rank the community's list. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what we got here.
Every Call of Duty campaign from worst to best.
Oh, and by the way, my guess for number 1 was probably either Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 2.
The community is always very loud with their opinions when content creators rank anything. So I thought to myself, why not have the community do the rankings instead?
It's an interesting idea.
Mind, I made a Call of Duty campaign tournament where I made 30 polls where each one had 2 COD campaigns face off directly with each other to have a winner, and these polls ended up having over 500,000 votes. This means the sample size is large enough to make this video pretty accurate to the entire community.
500,000 votes is solid.
And with all the results compiled together, this is every Call of Duty campaign ranked worst to best. 15th, Vanguard. This campaign was
great choice. This is one of my least favorites. Story-wise, I think it's the worst, but it does have better gameplay than Modern Warfare 3. Like the new Modern Warfare 3. So like the new Modern Warfare 3 is a horrible story and the gameplay is horrible. So I would put Modern Warfare 3 lower than this one, but I would put Vanguard second worst.
Mixed bag for me. Some aspects I liked and others I thought were quite bad. This was set from 4 different characters' perspectives that took us all over the different parts of the war. And the first and last missions are the only 2 set in the present, with the entire middle portion just being flashbacks, which I think is one.
And oddly, we've played through Battlefield 3, which it's actually possible that these 2 videos come out on the same day. That is how you do a story with flashbacks that's good. The problem with Vanguard is when they did the flashbacks, none of the flashbacks actually mattered for the overall story.
One of the biggest gripes with Vanguard's story, the game overall just felt forgettable and made people forget to vote for it. 14th, Black Ops 3. Where do we begin with this one? I think its biggest issue is the characters because they're lifeless. Pun intended. The character you're playing as is a nameless person, and that makes it much more difficult to care about what happens because you don't feel.
Yeah, so Call of Duty does this, or sorry, specifically Black Ops does this nameless, voiceless protagonist thing a lot lately. Black Ops 3 did it, Cold War did it, and Black Ops 6 did it with Case and Bell. But I don't think that's necessarily why, because I think those 2 have pretty decent campaigns. I think this one's too confusing. To keep it simple, like if you actually go in, like I have a video breaking down, you understand what's going on, and then you go in and play it, you'll enjoy it a little bit more, but it's still just a bit much.
Less connected to the story. I think the level design and gameplay are fine, but nothing extraordinary. The actual
I don't disagree with this one being
bad,
there,
but it's very hard to digest. You need to do hours of research on YouTube yourself
to
get a full understanding. And the problem with that approach is that the average gamer isn't going to go to all that trouble, and that's why the polls rated it the 2nd worst campaign.
Outcome.
Train go boom.
Train go boom. Outcome.
Train go boom.
Outcome.
Train go boom.
Outcome. Train go boom. What do you think I'm gonna say next?
13th, Advanced Warfare. This one is a step up from the bottom 2. From this point on, I think all these campaigns are enjoyable to the average Call of Duty fan.
Okay, so this is what I need to go back and play again, but I think this might be a little low. They have one of the best protagonists ever in this game.
Warfare didn't do anything crazy.
Sorry, I mean antagonist, but
it was the first time we actually got to experience advanced movement, which allowed them to add some fun elements to their level.
I need to go back and play this one.
We had a solid villain with Jonathan Irons, who we were supposed to think was a good guy at the start. It was a predictable plot twist, but it still accomplished its goal by making a decent story. And if nothing else,
it has one of the best speeches in any Call of Duty game.
Got one of the most well-known memes from COD.
Press F.
Press F to pay respects. I'll be starting a community ranks every multiplayer tournament shortly. Make sure to vote on those polls to determine the best COD multiplayer in the eyes of the community. 12th, Infinite Warfare. This ranking actually shocked me.
Okay, so I'm on record as one of the people who do not like this game, but I've only played through this game once. And in fact, I think this and Advanced Warfare, I'm probably going to play Infinite Warfare next. I think that's going to be the game we play through next. I'm going to play it in a couple different streams, make sure I do all the side content, and get a solid opinion on this one, because I've heard over and over again, this is one of the best campaigns. So I need to replay it, but I didn't like it the first time I played it. So based off of my initial opinion, I agree with this ranking, but I think a lot of people don't. So I don't know, that, or when I made my video on this, I put this as last place. And the reason for it is I just couldn't connect to any of the main characters in that game, but maybe that's changed.
I thought Infinite Warfare would be a few spots higher at least. This campaign centers around your character, Nick Reyes, and he is the ultimate hero who follows the saying, "Leave no man behind to a fault." And as the game develops, it's basically your character learning that you can't save everyone. This is a sci-fi story, but it tried to show the realism of war by having many of the main characters die throughout the story. And one of
maybe the last Call of Duty that does that. Maybe I need to play this game again.
They could be more creative and have fun because they got to visit different planets throughout the story. But the main issue with Infinite Warfare was the villain being pretty pedestrian. Admiral Koch was played by Kit Harington, who played Jon Snow in Game of Thrones, which gave us a lot of hope for a great villain. And while he wasn't awful, he fell flat and is probably what made people not vote this great campaign higher. These videos take a lot of work to make as a one-man crew, so please leave a like and comment the most memorable quote from a Call of Duty campaign. And make sure to subscribe for more Call of Duty polls and
Do you speak Japanese? That's the most memorable quote.
rankings, as well as helpful and entertaining Warzone content. And if I sound a little weird, it's because I'm sick. 11th, Ghosts. There are many who will die on the Ghost hill before admitting it wasn't the greatest game. And they are probably so defensive.
So here's the thing. Ghost is the only Call of Duty game that tells a family story. And in my opinion, it has the coolest setting of any Call of Duty game, the kind of post-apocalyptic thing. So you take those two and then you actually have a pretty decent villain and you make this really great campaign and then you leave it off on a cliffhanger. Mistake. But as a whole, this might be a top fiver for me.
Because Ghost did receive a lot of extra hate than it deserved because of when it was released.
No. The multiplayer sucked.
Was the goodest boy, Riley.
He was the goodest boy.
With this campaign is that Riley is the only thing that gives this story life.
What?
Without question, the part of the campaign that made us feel the story the most was when Riley got shot. Logan, the main character, had absolutely zero personality.
Dude, no, I strongly disagree. The scene where your dad dies in front of you, that didn't give you any emotions?
Which makes him more difficult to connect with and care about. Characters are what make us invested, and they don't have any of the top tier characters throughout Call of Duty history.
I strongly disagree with this.
Would have been a top tier villain, but Rourke just doesn't fit that bill, and it's one of the worst villains we've had. So you may be wondering what made the community vote for this story, and it all comes down to the missions, and the backstory of the Ghost faction is what made this game solid. All in all, I still want a second Ghost campaign, but it may never happen because of its bad reception on release. 10th, World War II.
I should replay through that one again too.
Is it a cliche World War II story? Yes, but that doesn't mean it wasn't incredible.
After replaying this campaign, I have a lot more respect for it. And in fact, I got another video hopefully coming this week on the last character that I haven't talked about yet.
Cinematic. The strongest part of this campaign is the story of the brotherhood between all the soldiers. And remember what I said makes us feel connected to the game. It's the characters' individual personalities. That way it isn't just Soldier 3 got shot and you're supposed to have an emotional response. And that's why Turner made us so emotional.
Yep.
I generally don't talk about graphics with Call of Duty games because it's obvious that the newer the game, the better the graphics. But I feel like World War II made a big leap and it looked fantastic.
Whoever made the cutscenes, like the actual cutscenes for this game, was wildly good.
The main problem with this campaign is the issue of most World War II stories in general. It's that there's no individual bad guy in the story. It's just fighting a big army.
Sure.
But that still doesn't change the fact that this is an enjoyable game to play through. 9th, Modern Warfare 2019, Piccadilly. Yep, the multiplayer.
This is, I think, a underrated campaign as well. I think Modern Warfare 2019, I'm gonna get hate for saying this, might be better than all three of the original Modern Warfare campaigns. Ooh, I think they do characters better than all the old games. And then you take like the rest of the Modern Warfare, basically if I was ranking all of the Modern Warfares, it would be Modern Warfare 2019, Modern Warfare 2, COD 4, original Modern Warfare 3, then the new Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2, and then Modern Warfare Roman numeral 3. I really do think this campaign's pretty amazing.
Map everyone hates, but was awesome in the campaign. This one is pretty much the beginning of a reimagining of the original Modern Warfare trilogy campaigns, and they add new characters and change up the classic ones like Captain Price and Soap just a little bit, which is a cool way to revisit some of our fan favorite characters. And this story is basically trying to find the big bad wolf, where you get one bad guy, but then it's not the correct one, and rinse and repeat. But even with that one issue, it's still very enjoyable with nicely developed characters, especially considering it wasn't even a super long campaign. 8th, Modern Warfare 2022. One of the strongest aspects of this—
You messed up the lower third. How do you put this above 2019? That's bananas.
Campaign was its visuals. With all of the different locations we gotta have missions, the colors and graphics are incredible. The missions were a blast and I enjoyed the characters a lot. So while I was surprised this game was above campaigns like Infinite Warfare, I understand why people voted for it. My only main criticism was how predictable the story was, mainly because I feel like it followed the original Modern Warfare trilogies closer than Modern Warfare 2019 did. 7th, Cold War. This one does a good job of trying—
So I still think Modern Warfare 2019 is better than Cold War, but this campaign was pretty good.
to capitalize on the success of Black Ops 1 campaign by going farther into the trippy mind control story. Then they also capitalize on Black Ops 2 campaign's success by allowing the player to make choices that change the outcome of the game. And it brings back some of the best characters with Frank Woods and Alex Mason, while introducing new ones like Adler, who was the main focus. And the 80s setting was cool to have because it is the only COD to be set in that time period. And I like how they had different style missions, specifically with the KGB one, where it was more of a puzzle solving level instead of just the normal run and gun con campaign mission. But the main issues with it were that it didn't have enough Mason and Woods, and the lack of backstory given on the new characters without doing your own research outside the game. They should have made this one just a little bit longer.
Yes, should have been a little bit longer. I do agree with that.
6th, COD 4. This was the first campaign to take a big leap forward in its storytelling. It was the introduction to Captain Price and Soap, where we just get to start to know them and are expanded upon in the further Modern Warfare titles. And speaking of Modern Warfare, this was the first Call of Duty and one of only a few shooter games set in the modern era at its time.
So I'm assuming this list is not going to have, well, it obviously won't have Black Ops 6 because this video is a year old, and it must have came out before Modern Warfare 3, because I think Modern Warfare 3 would be at the bottom there, and Black Ops 6 I think would be somewhere near the middle, I think.
Structure to this campaign was some of its incredibly memorable missions, with All Gillied Up being an example. And they add the shock value moments with the nuke as you're trying to escape on a helicopter. At the time, we never had any experience like it. 5th, Modern Warfare 3. When people say COD campaigns are Michael Bay movies, they're specifically referring to this one. I was shocked to see this one finish so highly. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this campaign, but I thought it was the weakest of the original Modern Warfare trilogy, and what I think made it finish this highly was its final mission, which in my opinion is the best final mission from any Call of Duty. It does such a good job of wrapping up the trilogy while being incredibly satisfying. It's
from any Call of Duty, the best final mission. Yeah, this Call of Duty has pretty crappy final missions, actually. Like, if you look back to, like, Black Ops 1, for example, the second last mission's better than the last mission. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Call of Duty doesn't do good last missions.
basically the opposite of Game of Thrones. And seeing the world completely plunge into World War III with New York burning and being a giant battlefield definitely gives this game a completely different feeling to other Call of Duties that make it unforgettable. We have big characters getting killed that leave an imprint and sadness over the experience.
This scene's amazing too.
Finally becomes the big bad wolf instead of just a side villain. Maybe I talked myself.
Also, like, another thing is, like, when they, like, remember when they actually killed characters? Remember when that was a thing? They need to start doing that again.
To being fine with Modern Warfare 3 at 5. Fourth, World at War. The highest rated World War II campaign by the community. Some people have this ranked as their favorite campaign, but I think 4 is a good spot for it. And
I'd say like a 7 for me. I think it doesn't do characters very well. Like, it brings in Reznov and Dmitry, But like aside from that, like it doesn't do characters that well, I don't
Biggest
think.
highlights and standout performances in this story is Reznov, and the
Yeah,
reason
of
for
course.
this is probably because they got a great actor in
Gary Oldman
to play the part. But Reznov is the only truly memorable character from World at War, which I think is its weak spot. Like, just think about this. Can you name a single other character from that campaign other
Dimitri,
than Reznov?
Roebuck.
But one cool fact is that you can actually see the main crew from Zombies Aether Story and World at War missions, with Takeo being in the very first mission in the background. What World at War is known for in the COD community was having the gore and horror of war, which fits well with the telling of a World War II story. Overall, it's a great game to play through. Third, Modern Warfare 2. Now we are getting into the S tier of COD campaigns.
This
Just
is
like
up
COD
there.
4, this game had a number of memorable missions. With the Ghost and Roach one, we're going to leave it at that. And
This is a top 3, I think. I think like Modern Warfare 2019 and this one, and maybe Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1. Like between those 4, those would be my top 4.
Screw Shepard, No Russian, the most controversial campaign mission in Call of Duty history, and of course, the final mission that's all about revenge. MW2 does a great job of expanding the characters we got from COD 4 with more backstory, and in the very first mission, you play as Roach, with Soap graduating from pupil to the mentor.
Which
and
is
we
a
get
cool addition
Makarov
to it.
slowly becoming one of the best villains in COD history. The plot twists aren't as easy to see coming in this one, which makes them all the more impactful and create our band of heroes to switch sides even if it feels wrong. All of this helps make you feel invested in what happens to these characters and world, which is what makes it so good. Second, Black Ops 1. This is my personal favorite campaign. And
So
just
Black Ops 2 is number 1, Black Ops 1. I think Black Ops 1 I might like better than Black Ops 2. Like when I think about it, I think the plot twist in Black Ops 1 is better than the plot twist in Black Ops 2. Like Frank Woods shooting Alex Mason's pretty good, but Reznov being dead makes you want to play the campaign again so you can realize, oh crap, he was dead the whole time. I think I like Black Ops 1 better.
barely lost the championship with 41% of the votes. The reason it is my favorite is because it is the best written campaign. We not only get introduced to some of the best characters in Call of Duty with Mason, Woods, and Hudson, we also get the return of a fan favorite, Victor Reznov. And how all of this is accomplished is by Treyarch telling a non-linear story for the first time. We have a story that is so unique to any other Call of Duty campaign that it truly stands out, with the CIA brainwashing that gives us an uneasy feeling about our own main character we're rooting for with Mason, and it gives us the most recognizable quote in Call of Duty history with "What do the numbers mean, Mason?" And in this story, we actually get to find out some of the answers to all of our questions that create giant plot twists, because some of the missions didn't actually happen how we remembered them because we were brainwashed. It's kind of Inception-like. And these twists and turns lead us down a rabbit hole of questions that eventually give this campaign the most memorable story and set of events. The only con to it is that the villain isn't top tier, but
True.
Dragovich still does enough to make this my
I actually do
favorite.
agree with that.
First, Black Ops 2. Why was it voted as the top campaign? I think it's because Menendez is the greatest Call of Duty villain. He just knows how to get stuff done and raise a group of people together.
Yeah, if you had to pick 2 villains that were the biggest Call of Duty villains, it would be Menendez and Makarov, for sure.
You get an incredible backstory to explain his motivations and why
It
he
is
went
true.
down
There's
this
more
path.
backstory on
They
the villain.
also
I do
show
like
the history
that.
between him and our characters because it takes place between time periods, which allows us to see young Woods and Alex Mason, but then we also get to see David Mason interact with old Woods. The past and the future intertwine beautifully in this story. This is the perfect sequel to Black Ops 1. There are some incredible plot twists where main characters from the original Black Ops campaign can be killed depending on your choices, and that affects the outcome of your game. It gives this thing so much replayability.
Murder me for Corvus the
If you could make one change to the community rankings, what would it be? Thank you.
Ghost would be higher. Modern Warfare 2019 would be higher. That's I think the biggest differences. As a whole, not a horrible list. Like not a horrible list. Like a Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, all being in like the top 3, I'm fine with. I think I would maybe move World at War a little lower, maybe like 7th era. I think like Cold War is better than World at War, for example. I think like a big thing to me is characters. And when you have good characters, good villain. Now Black Ops Cold War having Perseus as the villain, and then at the very end being like, Perseus is not a person, but rather an ideal. Is an interesting idea, but like then when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, well then they just made Stitch Perseus in after that. So like you almost in Call of Duty or like any game, you need the villain. And if you have a good villain, the rest kind of fits in around it. Then you can have a good main character. Then you can have a good team behind that main character. And as of right now, playing through Battlefield 3, that's one thing that they don't do very well in that game. Like you have your main character with Blackburn, but then you like the villain, like you have a villain, but like we haven't even seen a cutscene with that villain. Like he's been there, he's been around, but like it doesn't stress how evil or the bad that they can actually do, even though you see some of the events that happen. So, and that's the same with some Call of Duty games. World War II was a good example of that. World War II, you didn't have really that main villain. With a World War II game, they can't really paint like one bad guy because they've tried to do that with Vanguard, and that game was brutal because the villain was so bad. So yeah, I don't know. Not a bad list. Not a bad list whatsoever.